How you guys doing? Savage Red Recovery back for another interview. Do a little show. The reason I'm on here is because I just want to show people when you go against the divestment community, this is the type of stuff that happens. And what's funny is the people that are pushing for divestment seem to be one of the most hateful people and also mentally ill people. Now, I'm gonna end up letting some people come up here if they want to come up here, but these are some things that were posted onto my comment section that I just want people to see. All right, so we're going to show these. All right, give me 1 second. Let me pull up these screenshots because this right here is definitely what being a white content creator here on YouTube and talking about black issues or being on black panels or any of these things, you're going to end up coming across these people. And it is what it is. Like, there's nothing that you really can do about it. But I just want to go and show the craziness that's going on in this space. Not that I'm a victim or anything. I just want people to realize, like, these are the people that are making these videos and the stuff that they're doing. All right, so I'm not sure why it's doubled up here, but so this is a post from someone named Sarah the Narcissist. I have a dirty secret to tell you that I am Summer Madness. Summer Madness is just a character I play online when I'm up to dirt. I'm a very smart cookie. I'm behind the scenes on a lot of things. A few months ago, I intentionally mentioned your name on one of Jessica's live streams and did it to mess with you and take your viewer. I knew it would have embarrassed Jessica because she was taking money from a white homie, which contradicts her message. Jessica then went to Eddie's channel, and the rest is, well, you know. I know that most of your views come from Jessica's channel, and I knew that taking Jessica's channel away from you would end your YouTube channel, which it did. Your channel has significantly decreased, and I am diabolical. I will no longer be trolling you. My work here is done. I told you previously 2 things that black men despise the most is white men and black women. So turning black men against you was easy. But then again, I don't have to turn black people against you. They already dislike you. Just look how that black dude named Tough Love was yelling at you on Kevin and Sale's video. For all the divestment ladies, this is for you. Have a beautiful day. All right, so that right there is, yeah, so that is the first screenshot. So as you guys can see, I took the screenshot of this, and you can see at the bottom. So Sarah is Summer Madness. So if you guys go through any of my comments, if you've been through any of the comments in my videos, you guys will notice that Summer Madness is like going crazy in my comment section. All right. So Just Mike is her husband, quote unquote. Now, Sarah, aka Summer, is a divester. All right. Eddie Ahim, which is the girl that she's mentioning that Jessica X went and did a show with, and talking trash about me or whatever it may be, he's taking the video down. So I'm not sure exactly what was said or whatever like that. But point being is, this woman who's going around trying tell people that like I don't like black people. Like a common thing that you hear is that I'm a racist or I'm a closet racist or I'm trying to get clout off black people to overtake their platform or like there's just derogatory comments about me being white and being around black folks on YouTube or whatever it may be. So her husband is just Mike here, all right, and it says, "Well played, babe. He's so dumb. He had no idea that Summer Madness was you. Ha ha ha. It was fun emailing and taking screenshots of Chris and Savage and sending them to black content creators. Black folks are so gullible. Yo, Savage, peace, dude." Okay, so the woman hates black men. Like you can see it in any of my comments. She's a divester. Like she says right here, for all the divestment ladies, which the divestment ladies have the whole screw black men, they're not nothing mantra and all their talking points. Or her white husband, who, you know, she loves because he's her husband or whatever. He says that black people are gullible. So the woman that's out here talking to other people about how I'm a racist or whatnot, her own husband is white and says derogatory comments about black people. All right. Tough Love is just, he's just emotional. Like he's an emotional, like he got mad. He can't get at Tommy or Moneyboy Trey or whatever the issue that he has. He can't get at them. So he saw me on a panel and decided he wanted to yell at me and be emotional and talk over me like if he was a woman. But again, these people that come out and say stuff, like most time when you hear people talk crap about me, you hear them talk about how I'm white in a black space. Moneyboy is black. Jessica X is mixed. Like there are a lot of content creators that don't necessarily hold the same views as these people. Like Tough Love. Moneyboy Trey does not hold the same views as Tough Love does. Tough Love does want to make comments about white man be on Kevin Samuels' panel and stuff like that, but dyes his beard blonde. So you hear a lot of these people that have a problem with white people, but end up imitating, doing stuff of white people or being related to or close to racist white people that they accuse the white person that they don't like of being. So all of this came down to was because I started doing videos on the divestment community. The reason that I ended up doing videos on the divestment community is because I have no issue with interracial dating. Well, Bronzebird, it's not that she's not happy with them. It's that she's unhappy. What's up, Rich? I've been busy offline doing things. But anyone that wants to come up here, you guys can come up on the panel. But what it comes down to is these people get mad that someone doesn't share their view. All right. So I did a video. I've done videos about divestment because I find divestment to be a toxic premise. I feel that it's divestment is black women that are mad at black men using white men and lifting white men to a standard that is not obtainable because white men are just normal average people. Like that's all we are. And then using white men and black men against each other to be vengeful towards black men and try to get better option, like trying to get a better option out of the situation. And there was a video on Jessica X's show. She was doing a panel and she had a woman named Courtney come up, and Courtney was acting ratchet. And Courtney was nice. She came up a second time, told her she'd whoop her ass. Like was talking a bunch of crap, being very rude, and talking about how black men weren't shit. All of the divestment talking points. And being the fact that I was only one of the white people that was in the group, I super chatted her telling her that us as a white man, we don't want you, because she was saying disparaging things about black men because I was trolling and I found it to be hilarious. All right. Well, after that stream, if you guys go onto my videos and look at a video called Proof of Me Disrespecting a Black Woman, Courtney comes up here and me and her have a very cordial conversation. We ended up having a very cordial conversation, and it was fine. There was no big issue. Well, for whatever reason, I don't know if someone said that I said something racist on someone's panel. I don't know what the issue was, but at some point, Courtney ended up going over to Eddie Adheem's channel, and pretty much it became a roast fest of a quote-unquote bottom shelf Brad. And at some point, someone used that against Jessica X, because I have a video on my YouTube channel about when I was in drug addiction. The girl that I was using with, me and her were emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive in the relationship. And I had put my hands on her while we were using drugs and we were doing our bullshit. And I made that video because everything that I have done in life, or I put out there. Part of being sober is that you have to take responsibility for your actions and the role that you play in stuff. So being that I've been sober for 6 years, I've gotten accustomed and used to the fact of telling the negative parts about myself, because if I try to keep those things secret, those things are going to be the things that get me fucked up, to where I go back to doing drugs or lying or behaviors that are counterproductive to being sober. So I put that video out there, and that video was used against Jessica X to hurt Jessica X's brand. All right. And I totally understand. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure about the other allegations, but I do know that it was being said that I was a woman beater, which is not the case. It's not the case. I have been sober for 6 years. I'm 32, and me and my ex were in that relationship in my early 20s. So it's been fucking like 10 years, 8-9 years since me and her haven't even been together for like 5 or 6, and we're still good friends to this day. But the point that I'm making is the person that I was, I no longer am. Like, I didn't even have kids back then. But the point of it is I made a video about the divestment community as a white guy, which goes against the talking points of the divestment community. And the only thing the divestment community can do is try to say that you're a bottom shelf Brad or you're a Wookiee, as has been told to me before, and to discredit your view on the idea of the divestment community. So the reason I'm putting this up is I actually have been working on business outside of YouTube. I have stuff that I have going on that is going to effectively change my life, and I haven't had the time to be on YouTube making videos about divestment or any of that stuff. I'm going to be coming back to YouTube. I'm actually going to be investing the money in building a more professional studio. I have things that are going on in the works, but I wanted to bring this up because there is a lot of hatred for a white person being on YouTube in the manosphere and being around black content creators in the black manosphere. Like, that is an issue. So it's not the first time. It's like Tough Love bitching at me on Kevin and Sales' panel, or people saying that I'm a racist, because I hear that pretty much anytime I'm online. But I wanted to bring up the stuff that's going on in my comment section, because as you can clearly see, like, I have a video of that woman. I did a video of Sarah. If you go through my if you go through my log of my videos, you'll see a thumbnail with her picture on it. And for months, her boyfriend, her were in my comment sections, in my chats, trying to get me to take it down, all sorts of shit. If you go to Sarah's a Narcissist to her YouTube channel, you'll see that this girl clearly has some sort of mental illness. And her husband is, you know, if I'm a bottom shelf Brad, so is he. But the amount of hypocrites or hatred that goes on in this divestment community, if you go and look at Eddie Adheem's channel does the same thing. Like, he is a very hateful person, and says a lot of derogatory things about black men. So I just wanted to bring light that if you make a divestment video, you're going to have people in the divestment community come after you and be out there talking shit about you to other content creators. And I wanted to just bring up and show. I'll show these screenshots again, because this right here is what's important. This is what is important. So I'm going to show these again for the people that did not see. So this is right here is Sarah the Narcissist, as you can see on my screen. It says, I have a dirty secret to tell you. I am Summer Madness. Summer Madness is just a character that I play online when I'm up to dirt. I'm a very smart cookie. I'm behind the scenes on a lot of things. A few months ago, I intentionally mentioned your name on one of Jessica's live streams. I did it to mess with you and take your viewers. I knew it would have embarrassed Jessica because she was taking money from a white homie, which contradicts her message. Jessica went to Eddie Adheem's channel, and the rest is, well, you know. I knew the most of your views came from Jessica's channel. I knew that taking Jessica's channel away from you would end your YouTube channel, which it did. Your channel has significantly decreased. I am diabolical. I will no longer be trolling you. My work here is done. I told you previously that two things that black men despise the most is white men and black women. So turning black people against you was easy. But then again, I don't have to turn black people against you. They already dislike you. Just look how the black dude Tough Love was yelling at you on the Kevin and Sales video. For all the divestment ladies, this one is for you. Have a beautiful life. All right. So that's her. That's what she said. As you can see, this is the post that's underneath this one. Now, this is her husband, Just Mike. All right. So Just Mike says, well played, babe. He is so dumb. He had no idea Summer Madness was you. Ha, ha, ha. It was fun emailing and taking screenshots of Chris and Savage and sending them to black content creators. Black folks are so gullible. Yo, Savage. Peace, dude. Okay. So, in my comment section, if you go into any of my videos, there's parts of Sarah Madness or Summer Madness saying that Chris, a guy named Chris in the channel, in my comment section, or, you know, Chris that's in the group chat or in the chat, was saying that me and him were the same person, that I was just using a different account to talk shit to her, which is not the case. But you can clearly see that the woman that's for black women, all right, who does not like black men because she doesn't think that they're very much, is married to a white man. And the white man said, as you can see in his own comment, black content creators are dumb. So, like, he said they're gullible. Not me. I'm not saying it. Mike said it in his comment with the girl that he's married to who's black. And this is part of the divestment community. So clearly there are issues in this divestment community. And my whole stance on the divestment community is, as men, black or white or yellow or Hispanic, whatever race that they are, we need to work together in this sphere, because if we don't work together on trying to change the family court laws or trying to raise the men beneath us to understand what is going on with female nature and the laws, that we're doing a disservice to the generations that are coming after us, because we need to work together, because it's not going to work not working together. Women outnumber us already, and there's already simps in the men's sphere and men in general that are going to placate to this blue pill beta male simp ideology of the way the laws work and how life is. Like, anyone can come up here on this panel, but I just wanted to put this out here because this broad has nothing to do with why I haven't been on YouTube. This broad has nothing to do with why I haven't really been doing this. Like I said, I have big things going on in life that is far more important than any sort of topic or any sort of thing that I could be doing on YouTube. I really just haven't had the time. I really just haven't. There have been far more important things going on in my personal life. Nothing bad or like nothing that's bad or anything like that. I'm doing some other things that I just don't have the time for this at this point. And also, I really haven't been wanting to make a whole lot of YouTube content, because I'd rather put the money into building a more professional studio before I come back onto YouTube, because all of my ducks that need to be in a row will be in a row when that happens. But yeah, so I'm not trying to throw shame at Jessica X, or I'm not trying to throw shame at Eddie Aheem. Like, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody. All I'm trying to do is to give a story of what happened and what's in these comments, what she's talking about, and give the context of what is going on. I have no problems with Jessica X. I don't have any problems with, I don't have any personal problems with Eddie Aheem. Like, I don't have any personal problems or any problems with Tough Love. Like, I do think he's emotional, and I do think that, it's weird to not like white people and put blonde shit in your beard as a black man. I find that weird, but that's just me. But this isn't here to throw shade at people, just to give context to what this stream's about with these clips. I don't understand the idea of being against black people and then making an argument that a white person is racist when the white person you're saying is racist. Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, I know. Listen, I get all sorts of, whenever I was on Jessica's panel, like, she definitely would let me on, and there was all sorts of stuff about white people in the comments. A lot of the reason that I don't try to get on. No, I don't have problems with Tommy Sotomayor. I never had problems with Tommy Sotomayor, Chris. I just don't, like, I'm just trying to develop my own thing outside of YouTube, so I can come back and I can actually have something that's more professional and set up much better. That's it. Like, I don't have any issues with any other YouTube people. I'm not beefing. I'm not here to beef with anybody. I just find it funny that a white dude saying racist stuff that's married to a black girl, him and her going around trying to say that another white guy's racist, and like, it's weird. Like, it's weird to me. Like, the mental gymnastics that need to be done for people to believe this woman or these, like, other content, like these other YouTube channels that she has, is weird. Yeah, it is. I know that like they talk a bunch of shit, and then once you say anything back, they get very upset about it. Yeah, I like it's weird. It's weird. Like at the end of the day, like you're at the end of the day, we just need to we like society is going to be sustained by men, and if we as men don't work on that, if we don't work on that, then society is going to crumble. Yeah, so if it comes down to saving society, or if any of you guys have sons or daughters, the only way that's going to us being able to correct this is by being men and bettering ourselves and taking over what we accept and what we don't accept. Well, I'm not exactly sure what the reason is for the black manosphere and the white manosphere. Like, I'm only been around in the YouTube space since like 2017, and I didn't start making videos until 2020, I think. So like I wasn't in the manosphere or watching the content creators prior to 2007. So I don't know anything about racial beefs or any of the issues that were going on between content creators prior to that. When I started on YouTube making content, it was already a manosphere that was black, and the cancel culture had already been going on under Trump. And from what I had heard, like a lot of people were getting just shut down from feminist, and I'm not sure if it was race issues or what exactly the problem was when it came down to the whole thing. Like I really don't know. Um, I couldn't tell you. I just know how it was when I got here, and I have been told from other people that the I've been told from other people that there have been like feuds and like pro blacks jumped into the manosphere and stuff. Like I don't, I really don't know. It was already here when I started, so I can't explain or take account for any of the stuff that happened prior to me. But I do know what I see. I do know what I see now. I do see a lot of shouting down of white people, and when I say a lot, I really mean like the few white people that I see in myself. So it is what it is. Like I don't really care if I'm accepted or not accepted. That wasn't the point of the YouTube channel. Um, Pretty much the point of my channel was that I was a fuck up and I fixed my life and I have kids. And if I can do it, then anyone can do it. Like, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know. I wasn't like I only know stuff about the split from secondhand or third hand or fourth hand information. Like I couldn't tell you either way. You could have told me it was because every YouTube content creator made videos with the N word that were white in the description and is the name of it. I don't know. I'd never seen it. I wasn't around. Yeah, like I don't know. But the main reason I made this video or made this channel was because I was on MTR's channel and I was a constant guest on the channel, and people told me that I should start a channel and that they would support. So it wasn't that I was watching MTR back when he had like 7,000 subscribers. He wasn't a very big channel. I definitely enjoyed his content before he blew up. I definitely enjoyed being part of the discussion. And I had people that were in the comment sections that told me that I needed to start my channel and they would support. And that's how my channel started. So I was told by other people in the Black manosphere space to make the channel. My first video that I did as Savage Red Recovery was an interview on MTR's channel. If you go look up, should you make a video in 2020 or make a YouTube channel in 2020? That's the first time I ever did a video on camera with this channel. And I did an interview of MTR. So those people supported me. My first interview was of a Black content creator. Like, I get told a lot of the times that I'm a white guy that's trying to go to where Black people are and try to steal their clout and all this other shit. But the people that told me to start the channel and the person that helped me start the channel was a Black content creator. So I didn't make this because of clout chasing. I didn't make this because it's easier for white people to be around Black people and get successful. It's none of that. It's literally, I told a story. I told a story, and on top of me telling a story, I had my own view of stuff, and I was told by these people that I should make a YouTube channel. It was that simple. The fact of the matter is if I can fuck up my life as bad as I fucked up my life, and I can turn around and have a good life after all the botchery that I did and all the fuckery, that anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. And I fucked myself with baby moms. Yeah. I was also on Tommy Sotomayor's panels. My first time ever being on YouTube was in 2017 on Tommy Sotomayor's channel about child support. The main reason that I became RP aware was because I had a child out of wedlock with my son's mom, who was Black, and my son is mixed. And I was going through the court system in Cleveland, Ohio, which is the majority of the people that work inside of the city government buildings are Black. So I was a white man in a majority power structure Black city going through child support. So I was on Tommy Sotomayor's show talking about my experiences in 2017 with child support and what CPS was doing and all that good stuff. Then that's what got me into the red pill space. And then I came across MTR. That's how it happened. Like, I have a 4-year-old son, and my 4-year-old son is mixed. I will actually bring something up and show you, because a lot of people, I want this to also be said, a lot of people talk shit about how white people are racist or call me a racist and all this other stuff. But this is what I want to bring up. So this right here is my my Instagram page. Okay. Now, so this is my family. All right. So this is my brother. This is my daughter. This is clearly my son. This is clearly my daughter. This is clearly me. All right. On a deck. And then this right here is my daughter, my son, my niece, my nephew, and my niece. And all 4 of these children are brothers and sisters. They're all related. And then these 2 right here are related. So as you can tell, this is my sister and her husband and their family. All right. So when it comes down to the whole racist, like the first thing people say is about racist. I'm a racist white person, or I'm a pookie or whatever. or they make claims that I say stuff that I don't say. But like my family doesn't have any, like my family isn't racist. Like we have mixed children in my family. Like my, like it just, that's not the case. Like this idea that is like constantly this narrative that's pushed is just not true. It's just not true. And the fact that after George Floyd, I stopped going on to MTR and I stopped being a part of that because it was already a black content creator and there was already racist people about against white people in the comments. But after the stuff with George Floyd, it literally became fuck the white man. These are racist white people, and race every day. Every day. I stopped following the page. I stopped being a Patreon subscriber. I had to back away because the environment just became too toxic. It became too toxic. Yeah, what this was you to understand. It's just like when you date a girl and the girl accuses you pretty much every day of cheating on you. Like every day they pretty much talk to you as if you're cheating on them. I don't know about you guys, but I really get tired of being accused of something that I'm not doing. If I do something and I'm wrong, then I completely understand your criticism of me. But to constantly tell me something that I'm not doing, it gets old. And I had to walk away from, like, I have no problems with MTR. I don't. I respect it. I respect his channel. I respect his platform. I definitely respect how much he's grown. He takes the business seriously and he has good content. I have no issues with him. But I just it's crazy, like it's crazy that anytime that I bring up like whenever we get into conversations about race or divestment or any of these things, it always goes back to me being a white guy. And any time that people try to give me some sort of white privilege argument, that's not the case. Like, it's just not. Like, I've been on panels where people tell me that white people have privilege and then will use me as an example and then tell me that I've never experienced racism. But if you go into if you go into my comments section, if you go into chats that I'm in, there are constantly comments about me being white. And I bring that up to dispute their argument. If you go and you look up Kevin Sales, he had it, or not Kevin Sales, Money Boy Trey. I was on his panel a few days ago, and one of the guys kept just calling me a white boy and a white man and making comments about being white and saying that I was racist. But the only person that said anything racist was Dude. So, if I could get some white privilege, I would love some white privilege. Like, I would love any sort of privilege that I can get, because being a white male, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say that it's like rough, but it definitely is not. It's not peaches and cream. Like, it's not what people think it is. Like if I get ran over by a car, there's not many people that are gonna care. I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, no one's gonna feel bad for me, and no one's gonna march for me or make a movement against cars or anything. Like, I'm just an average dude doing average stuff. But yeah, like that's the main reason that I made the channel, was because I improved my life from being a drug addict, a criminal, and like pretty much being homeless, to being able to live a middle-class life and having kids and being a father. And like, I take my responsibility of being a father very seriously. Like, I've said on other videos that, like, I understand the downside of marriage. I understand the risk of marriage. But for me personally, because I have children, I would be willing, under the right circumstances, to get married so that I could have my kids see a married couple last, because that would give my kids the best options. Yeah, I got called a colonizer as well. Now, I would not preach to any of you guys if you guys don't have kids. If you guys don't have any kids, I wouldn't tell you to get married. Getting married is horrible. It's a very shitty risk. I'm not saying that's a good opportunity, but the fact of the matter is, when you make decisions and you have consequences to pay on these decisions, you have to do the best thing after that fact. So the fact that I made 2 children with 2 women was a poor decision. It was a poor decision. But I have to do what's best for my children because I'm now a father, and that is my responsibility. Well, I've watched Bernard's channel, and yes, I like what you have to understand is a lot of these black content creators, nothing against the content creators, but a lot of the chat rooms are like black people first, fuck white people. Like I totally get that. But like I've gone over this on many panels. The reason that I watch stuff other than black content creators on YouTube. Most of the content creators that do panels or do chats on stream are black content creators. I don't know of many white content creators. How you doing, Katie? I'm going to drop this StreamYard if you guys want to come up here. But a lot of the people that do panels and discussions are black content creators. I don't see too many white content creators that are in this space that do this. I'm sure that there are panels for other topics or other parts of YouTube, but I don't see it so much in the manosphere. My son is mixed. So regardless if pro-black say that because I'm white, he's going to choose to be more to his white family, or if, you know, the white people in the racist country are going to see him as a black man, whatever view you want to take it from either side, my son is still mixed. So he is still going to have to deal with the black community and the white community on some level. So either way, it is good for me to be a part of both things, because either way, my son is going to have to deal with the consequences of both of these actions. It does not matter if he only hangs out with white people and he only dates white people. If you're going to go with white racist or going to see him as black, then I still have to be a part of this black community and understand what's going on, because I still have to guide my son. If you're going to say that he's not white, he's black because he doesn't pass as white, then I still need to know about the black community and be involved in the black community because he's not white. So no matter what your point of view is or your argument is, I'm doing these things because I'm trying to make a life that is better for my son. It's that simple. My niece is also black. She's mixed. She's half black and half white. So it's going to be the exact same thing for my niece. So this isn't like I don't make money off YouTube. That's not why I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube because it's necessary to help push the culture. We have to change society, and I have people that are close to me that need this to be fixed in the future. My son is 4 years old, and if people don't start stepping up and start trying to fix this, it is only going to be much, much worse by the time my son gets to an age of dating. What's up, Washed Up Gamer? How you guys doing? Anybody can come up here. I'm gonna pull up these screenshots again, just so everyone can see what I'm talking about. I don't want people that have came in late to not know what is going on. So the reason I'm making this video is because I've made videos previously about divestment, and this is why I don't agree with the divestment, because I feel that it is a hatred or a toxic standpoint that people are doing. So this right here is Sarah the Narcissist. I'm going to read this out for you guys. I have a dirty secret to tell you. I am Summer Madness. Summer Madness is just a character I play online when I'm up to dirt. I'm a very smart cookie. I'm behind the scenes on a lot of things. A few months ago, I intentionally mentioned your name on one of Jessica's live streams and did it to mess with you and take your viewer. I knew it would have embarrassed Jessica because she was talking money. She was taking money from a white homie, which contradicts her message. Jessica then went to Eddie Ahim's channel. The rest is, well, you know. I knew that most of your views came from Jessica's channel, and I knew that Jessica's channel. I knew taking Jessica's channel away from you would end your YouTube channel, which it did. Your channel has significantly decreased. I am diabolical. I will no longer be trolling you. My work here is done. I told you previously 2 things that black men despise the most is white women or white men and black women. So turning black people against you is easy, but then again, I don't have to turn black people against you. They dislike you. Just look at how that black dude named Tough Love was yelling at you on Kevin and Sale's video. For all the divestment ladies, this one is for you. Have a beautiful life. Now, here's the next screenshot that makes it worse. So as you can see, I just read for the divestment ladies, this one is for you. Have a beautiful life. So right underneath that comment is Just Mike, which is Sarah's husband. This is Sarah's husband. Well, babe, he's so dumb. He had no idea Summer Madness was you. Haha. It was fun emailing and taking screenshots of Chris and Savage and sending them to black content creators. Black folks are so gullible. Yo, Savage. Peace, dude. What's going on? Yeah, so peace, washed up gamer. But yeah, as you can see, the girl is married to a white dude, and the white dude thinks black people are gullible. Like, and she's okay with him saying this. But me not liking the divestment community because of the talking points that they have that are just hateful. Like, there's nothing positive about it. There's nothing good about it. If black women want to date white guys, then that's great. That's perfectly fine. Like, it's completely and utterly okay. But there's no reason to talk shit about black guys. Like, there's not. Like, I've dated all types of women, and you don't see any videos of me just talking mad shit about a specific race of woman. Like, there's no need. Everything is fine. Like, there's no need to talk shit. Mike from Boston, why don't you come up here and talk about your experience on YouTube? And hey, cool, your mic's not on.
You hear me now?
I do hear you now.
All right, what's up? What's going on, man?
Not too much. What's going on?
Dude, I'm chilling, man. And this is not surprising, man. They always try to throw mud at you to gain clout. I'm not sure, what. I'm not sure if she went after this and gained more clout after that. I'm not. That's the question I have for her. Did she, use this as a springboard? Because I never heard of the girl before, but I did see that guy on your channel previously. The other guy, the husband.
Yeah.
And he's always starting some mess, And when the key was that when you broke the divestment bubble, because guys like you are the target of the divestment. So when it's broken up, then it's over with. That bubble's burst. That's it. So they were gonna go after you hard. All the other people you mentioned, they have their own vested interests as to why they come against you. And I'm sure that will come out later, eventually. because they kind of use it. And as for the Bernard Rowley thing, I'll say this, man. Uh, it's not as pro-black as people make it seem. There's people in the chat that are doing it, but for the most part, a lot of us, we rock with you. Some of us guys are moderators, whatever. We rock with you. So even if you was going there, all that pro-black stuff would not go happen. It definitely won't happen on our watch. Not to say it won't. Not to say that it won't happen fully, but at least we'll try to get it out the way. And I think you've been on all the panels like Fantastic, Game Changer, other gentlemen, and you talked to them pretty clearly and pretty concise, man. So, to say that you don't have a spot in this space is crazy, man. I'll leave it at that, man.
Well, like, it's not even so much. It's not even so much that like only reason I'm doing this is because I just want to show how hypocritical these people are and how mentally deranged they are. Like if you go through my comments, like if I showed you my comments, like there are just so like there's just so many things that this chick has said as Summer Madness in my comment section that she's nuttier than a squirrel's turd. Like it's just, but she's a hardcore divester, hardcore, but her husband's white and racist. Like,
Yes.
and that's what makes no sense.
It's crazy. She's a hardcore divester at the expense of her own husband. So she's trying to monkey. I don't know if she's trying to monkey branch from her husband to you. I don't know what's up with that. Because if you got a husband, the main attention should be on your husband, not the man like yourself, right?
Well, you would think that it would be on her husband, but her husband is a goofy for one, and for two, like I don't know if she's trying to monkey branch to me or not, because according to her and Eddie Aheem, I'm a bottom shelf Brad, so I'm not exactly sure if I'm the demographic that they like. I'm I've been told I'm a low quality white man, and there was actually I forget what panel I was on, but I was, oh no, I wasn't on the panel. Kevin and Sales and Eddie Heem were on a panel together, and Eddie Heem had told Kevin and Sales that white guys that hang out with majority of black men lower their value is what he said. So I'm not their demographic.
That's a double shot right there. Double shot at black men and white guys who hang out with black men. Two in one. Kill two birds with one stone with that comment. That's the crazy
Yeah,
part,
and
man.
yeah.
But when he was on Fantastic Panel, that one time, that's the only time really hurt from the dude. He wasn't like, he didn't have that same energy, man. He didn't have that same energy. So like, I don't know if he says this amongst his crew on his channel, then goes on another panel and has a whole different answer. That's the question I want to know. Because that guy has a lot of that. That was a very serious comment to throw at guys. So what's the point of having unity? They don't want unity with that comment. Because they're basically saying that if you hang out with me, you're lower than me.
Yeah.
But we're trying to build together and get out the situation that we might be in if we're by ourselves, then what's the point? So I don't know, man. These guys, they don't want no progress.
So I'm gonna play. So I just got. So I had a buddy of mine who does he does music. All right, me and him got sober together, and he's Hispanic. He's not white. We went to the same halfway house. We both had drug addictions. He does music, and he's doing very well for himself. He made a beat for me. For I'm gonna do as my new intro. You guys tell me what you guys think of this. Can you guys hear it?
I hear it. I hear it.
What do you guys think of this beat?
It rocks, man. It rocks, man. You gotta throw the savage on there, man. You gotta throw the savage on there.
Yeah, I've actually been writing some bars to that, so I am gonna end up recording it and making the intro for that.
But you're gonna make the bear. You drop some bars.
Yeah, that beat's pretty good. I'm a fan of that beat. But yeah, like I'm not like guys, I'm not butthurt. I'm not upset. Like I have tough skin. I can take it. It's just this is the problem with the divestment community. The divestment community itself is toxic. It's just toxic. It's a toxic mindset. It's the same. The pro-black. It comes from the pro-black. It's the same side of. It's the other side of the same coin of the pro-black thing. Like there's nothing wrong with having pride in your people, but the issue of it is when you want to rely on a certain point of view as a hatred or trying to constantly get revenge against somebody. Like I'll make a great example. Okay. So if you guys have been following the Fulio and the Ace feud in Jacksonville, all right, or if you look at the O Block and the STL feud, all right, those race isn't involved. It's both black people that are involved in it. But one side started whatever side started dissing the other person's dead homies. So the other side started doing the same thing. And Little Dirk did an interview saying that like there's no way for it to stop because people have been dissing each other's homies in music for so long that you're not going to get that. You're not going to get until everyone's done. Everyone's dead. You're not going to get the other side to not stop feeling the way that they feel. It's the same thing with this divestment community. By using a racial view on dating against black men, you're really not gonna. It's not gonna solve any issue. And the pro-blacks constantly using race against white people isn't going to stop. It's not going to make anything better. Like you can't get fire and then be like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add more fire to it. That will stop it. Fire on top of fire will stop it. Like that's what we'll do. Like you can't add the problem to the problem to make it better. It doesn't work that way. And the issue with pro-blacks and the issue with the divestment community is like they have a lot of there's a lot of racist white people and like there's just a lot of this idea that everyone like there's just a lot of racist people in this country.
Yeah, but my thing is, if there's racism, why everybody like Drake? Drake came from a white mother and a black dad. Barack Obama came from a black African father, a white mother. Alicia Keys, same thing. You know, we can go down the list. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but you know the difference between them and like my son?
Let me know.
According to them, they're black because their fathers are black.
And here's the other thing, the other side of it, Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle is another one. Her mother is black, her father is white. You know, you have right now people voted them in. Kamala Harris. Her husband is a white gentleman. And 90% of people who are black, that was a major focal point of voting her in, was that she was black. And her husband is white. Same for the black men who might come at you sideways, but they might vote for the Democratic Party. If you voted for the Democratic Party, and they coming at you. It makes no sense because you voted for this woman, whether you know like her or not, and her husband is white. So and her offspring. I don't know if she has children with the gentleman. I don't know, but it makes no sense to me, man. But I'll leave it at that.
What's up, Mike from Boston?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not too much.
Mike.
What's going on with you?
Not much, man. Just I was listening to your, some of the shit you were saying, and like exactly the same experience that I've had, man. Like being on some of these, on some of these panels and in the chat and shit. I mean, I know you seen me over at Kevin and Sales, but prior to that, I used to go to this other channel. I'm not gonna name, but it was, it was pretty much I was the only white guy that would go to the channel and be on the panel and shit. And around the time, like exactly like you said, around the time when the George Floyd incident happened, shit just went left. Like everyone on the shit started coming at me, and it was crazy because I could see it happening. I was like, damn, they're taking their anger and shit from that whole incident, and they're kind of putting it on me because I'm, I think they're likening me to the police officer, and I saw it play out, and eventually I fell out with that entire that whole page. I don't even fuck with them anymore, and I still get it. I'm sure you've seen on Kevin and Sales.
Well, what makes me laugh about when that went down with George Floyd is, one, I was a drug addict, and two, I'm a convicted criminal. So I'm a 2-time felon. So obviously I can't be a cop. I legally can't own a firearm. So to put me in the same ballpark as a cop is already a reach. And then, like, a lot of people didn't like that I said that he was overdosing. I called that he was overdosing prior to anything coming out with the coroner report. The fact of the matter is I've been on heroin, I've been on fentanyl, and I've done meth. I've done all the drugs that were in his system, and I know that the reason that he was foaming at the mouth was because he was high. Like I knew this before they showed the video of him being in the store. Had he not resisted and went with the police, he probably could have got medical attention. But the fact that he was carrying on and whatnot, it prolonged it, and that him overdosing played into him dying. So I got a lot of heat for that, and also I was white. So like I get it, but the fact of the matter is people these days really don't want to look into stuff or have even be able to put aside their own opinion of something and look into it before they make a conclusion. Or even if they have a view of it, at least look into something. Like the other day when we were on, like, Kevin and Sales had that video about slave ships.
Right.
He had that video about slave ships. I actually I did a video a few months ago from Larry Elder. I'll actually pull it up. And this isn't from me. Like, this isn't something that I came up with, but this is something that he came up with about slavery from scholars. Okay, so
right,
we're going to go to my channel.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, about the whole George Floyd thing. I'm a recovered addict as well, so I was into that whole scene with the opiates back in my 20s and shit. So I recognize the same thing that you did as far as the symptoms of the opiate overdose, but the one thing, I mean, I couldn't imagine what would have happened, like what they would have done if I had come out on that side. Because when that shit happened, I kept that shit to myself because I know that they didn't want to hear that. So I never even thought to bring that shit up. But it just shows that how like, even though I was on their side, I always supported like basically the shit they were saying when it came to race, because I don't really like talking about it. You know, like, it's not really my place to say, like, but it's crazy. And what makes it worse for me is that what I do for a living. You know, I'm a private investigator, which is in no way, shape, or form law enforcement. But that, just because of the connotation of that, people were like, "Oh, you're a Fed, and you're you know, you're just a typical white you know, typical white boy." I mean, that's what I get it more than anything, just the white boy shit.
Well, they still call me a white boy and stuff, but like clearly I'm not the typical white boy. Like, I'm not. But so I'm gonna bring up this video that I did, and I want people to hear this, because this is like, he did a whole show about this, and this is coming back to, like, we were talking. You were there. We were talking to some people, and the people wanted to go at this, like, slavery was so bad and we have to be mad about it and all this stuff. But Larry Elder here breaks down this stuff from a black person himself, with historical historical proof of these things that he's saying.
Right.
Democrats pay a dime. After all, out of the 350,000
And that's a fact. Why should anyone other than Democrats pay?
slave owners of the estimated 4 million slaves in 1860, near as we could figure out, virtually none of them was a Republican.
None of them.
Here's my
Virtually none
incendiary
of them.
fact. In 1860, which is the year before the Civil War, no Republican owned a slave. Now, notice I'm not saying that no Republican leader owned a slave. I'm saying that no Republican in the United States owned a slave. And if that's true, it means that all the slaves in the country, there were 4 million at the time. This was the zenith of American slavery. 4 million slaves were all owned by Democrats.
Now, when Dinesh made that claim, he got hammered and sent scholars all over the world scouring around to prove him wrong. And they did prove him wrong. Turned out there might have been maybe 8 Republicans out of the 350,000 estimated slave owners.
So let's think about that. So out of 350,000 slave owners in 1860, there was 8 Republicans, quote unquote, 8 Republicans. So again, in the country, there was only 350,000 slave owners, which is not a lot of people, even in 1860. Only 8 were Republicans. So if there was reparations, then why would everyone in the United States have to pay for slavery?
There's a slave-owning families.
Very good question.
Not a whole lot to brag about. Maybe Brian Williams can tell us what fraction of 1% that is. This brings us to the all-important 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. And what role do the Democrats play in getting them passed?
Well, the 3 Reconstruction Amendments, 13th, 14th, 15th. The 13th abolished slavery. The 14th established the principle of equal citizenship. The 15th tries to give black men the right to vote. These are all things which the federal government couldn't have conceived of doing before the Civil War. But the war itself empowers the national government, and the abolition of slavery leads, after a terrible political struggle, to the incorporation of black Americans as equal citizens of the society. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments each ends with a clause saying Congress shall have the power to enforce this amendment. In other words, it gives Congress the right to protect the basic rights of American citizens. And even though those basic rights of blacks were soon violated and taken away, really, in many of the southern states, nonetheless, those amendments remain in the Constitution, and a century later, they would be the basis, the legal constitutional basis for the Civil Rights Revolution of the 19th.
So the rights were given, and again, those rights were violated in the South, where the Democrats controlled. Not in the North, but in the South. All right. But the part that I really want to get to
Now to answer
13th Amendment.
Most there's a hear all the time that Republicans are racist, they're racist, they're racist, they're racist. True.
Democrats,
and gender discrimination. But it wasn't always this way. The Democratic Party was once the party of white supremacy.
So here, this right here is a poster from that time period. The two platforms. So you have the Democratic Party on the left, which is a white guy, is for the whites, and then you have a black guy on the right. The Republican platform is for the black man and the carpetbagger. So as you can see, this is what the Democrats thought. It wasn't until the Democrats wanted to get power and they realized that the black vote would get them into office more is when they started to go for minorities.
Supporting slavery and the Ku Klux Klan.
and as a percentage of the party, more Republicans
Congress supported the bill, less than opposition to the land.
And they really
Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act, both in the House and the Senate, than did Democrats, who filibustered against it.
The only serious congressional opposition to the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 came from Democrats. 80% of Republicans in Congress supported the bill.
80%.
Less than 70% of Democrats did. Democratic senators filibustered the bill for 75 days until Republicans mustered the few extra votes needed to break the logjam.
Will Connor, the superintendent of public safety, Birmingham, Alabama.
So again, the reason that the Civil Rights Bill was passed was because of Republicans. Now, the reason that I made this video was because this is a lot of the information that is not told to us today. Like a lot of the narrative that you hear is white people are racist, the Republicans are racist. You hear all this stuff. But the civil rights movement, the thing that you would say would be a big step in resolving racism in the country, or at least if you listen to people that are saying that they're oppressed in America by white people, you would assume that the Civil Rights Act would be a movement towards not being oppressed. So the fact that the reason it was passed at all was because of Republicans goes against the narrative that we're taught.
Alabama.
In 1963, under orders by City Commissioner Eugene Bull Connor, Birmingham, Alabama City Police used fire hoses and police dogs against children and adults engaged in nonviolent protests.
So again, when you hear about police brutality, they talk about how whites use dogs and hoses on black folks back in the day. But again, the people that did that were Democrats in the South, the same people that owned slaves, the same people that made the laws that of segregation, the same people that had Jim Crow laws. All these people keep making these laws, but it keeps getting attributed to white people as a whole when it was Democrats.
Against segregation. The demonstrations were part
Again,
of
Democrat.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s Birmingham campaign. Television news coverage of the attack.
Martin Luther King was a Republican. He was a Republican.
Attacks by police sparked mass nationwide protests.
You can never whip these birds if you don't keep you and them separate. I found that out in Birmingham. You've got to keep the white and the black separate.
Orville Faubus, the
That
racist
guy's clearly a
governor of Arkansas
racist.
who refused to allow those little black kids to attend that public school. Democrat.
It was in September that 9 black students, 6 girls and 3 boys, became forever known as the Little Rock Nine. On September 2nd of that year, days before Central High was to be integrated, Governor Orville Faubus of Arkansas ordered National Guardsmen to surround the school. Their orders to only let the white students in.
I acted to protect the persons and property of the people of Little Rock.
Ever heard of Ross Barnett, former racist governor of Mississippi? Democrat.
We asked Governor Ross Barnett how long the state was prepared to finance the fight against integration.
As I said a while ago, we'll have to cross that bridge when we meet it, when we get to it. We can't anticipate that people are going to continue to violate the law. We presume that people will will begin to control our mental and our physical faculties in such a manner and way that they'll have respect for laws of the various states when they enter those states. When these freedom riders go to Ohio or go to Oregon, they ought to obey the laws of those states. I don't know what it's going to cost.
Racist
Democrats.
Governor George Coley.
And again, right there, a Democrat back in the day saying he didn't know what it was going to cost, but the cost was well worth it.
Wallace of Alabama, Democrat.
In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line in dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
And don't get me started on the time that Ted Kennedy, Democrat, praised George Wallace, Democrat, because Ted Kennedy was thinking about running for presidency, and all of a sudden George Wallace's racism didn't matter a whole lot, did it?
For if there's one thing that George Wallace stands for, it is the right of every American to speak his mind and be heard, fearlessly and in any part of this country.
As I told the House Judiciary Committee on Reparative Justice, what about people like Obama, Kamala Harris? Obama's father from Kenya, an area of Africa where there was a lot of slave trading. Obama's mom from Kansas, her family owned slaves. Does Obama cut a check or does he get a check? Kamala Harris, her father admitted from Jamaica that his family owned slaves.
So Obama's family owned slaves and Harris's family owned slaves. Crazy, right? But it's only white people that are demonized, and Harris's dad is Jamaican. He's not white in any way, but his family owned slaves. But white people need to feel bad about themselves, right? That the real problem is all these white people that never owned slaves, and the less than 1% of people that owned slaves during slavery that were Democrats. Everyone else needs to feel guilty about it. Okay, that makes sense.
Does Kamala Harris cut a check or she get a check? It all becomes so very complicated, doesn't it? A couple of ending points. I kept hearing over and over again that slavery has existed in America for 400 years. Well, America has not existed for 400 years. America was founded in 1787. Slavery ended 1865, substantially less than 400 years. Also, there's this problem. From whom are you going to ultimately get all this money? Because slavery existed all over the world from the beginning of human history. Talk about a cross current of money going back and forth. Consider this. The Arab slave trade lasted centuries before the European.
Yeah, so I've made this point before on other streams and other videos that the Arab slave trade started well before the European slave trade. And I made a point on Kevin Insel's second channel about there were more white slaves taken into Africa during the time of the European slave trade to America than there were blacks taken from Africa to America.
European slave trade and lasted afterwards. And more blacks were taken out of Africa for the Arab slave trade than Europeans took out of Africa and transported to North America.
Hey, Savage, I'm gonna step off real quick, bro.
Okay, so this right here is the most crucial part that I want. Sorry about that phone call. I had to take that. But this is the most crucial part about what I want people to realize.
More blacks were taken out of Africa for the Arab slave trade.
Of that, the European slave trade to America than there were blacks taken from Africa to America.
European slave trade and lasted afterwards. And more blacks were taken out of Africa for the Arab slave trade than Europeans took out of Africa and transported to North America.
This is the story of the slave trade between Europe and Africa, a tragic tale of coastal villages raided and men, women and children carried off into captivity, loaded onto ships, taken to be sold as slaves in another continent, never seeing their homes again. A familiar enough narrative, except that in this case, the villages being depopulated in this way were English. and slave traders arrived in ships which had sailed from Africa, long before the British ever became involved in the slave trade.
So let's make this very clear what you just said. Ships from Africa came to Europe and were taking slaves from Europe back to Africa before the English ever got into the slave trade, before Europe ever got into the slave trade. Before white people were in the slave trade in Africa, there were African ships coming to Europe. That is what he just said.
Slavers out of Africa were raiding not only the British Isles, but many other European countries, from Iceland to Malta, Ireland to Spain, and Italy to the Netherlands, carrying off white slaves to be sold in the slave markets of Africa.
The truth can be horribly complicated. What are your thoughts? And don't forget, we have been.
So the reason that I showed that video yeah, so sorry for the guys that got down off the panel. You guys can come back up here if you'd like. But the reason that I bring that up was a lot of this narrative comes back, like a lot of the racial tension comes back from slavery. Like a lot of pro-blacks talk about slavery, or when you hear whenever you hear black people on these panels talk about the injustice in America, they bring up slavery. But it's all cool. It's okay, cool. But the reason I bring this up is you had African ships that were taking Irish and English from Africa and Spaniards. You had white slaves in Africa from African ships. Okay, so the slave trade is not the white slave trade to America wasn't the only slave trade. White people were not the only people buying slaves in Africa. But the narrative that's taught to us, they don't teach in the history book about whites being taken to Africa as slaves. They don't really talk about the Muslim slave trade. There's a lot of narrative that's not told because they're trying to paint a negative view and keep racial tensions going in America. And that's exactly what this divestment community thing is doing. It is using white and blacks against each other to push a racial narrative. And that's why I made the video. I've made videos about divestment. Now Larry Elder, if you guys ever go and listen to Larry Elder's dad was in World War II. And when he came back from World War II, he ended up going to California to get a job, and he couldn't get a job. They said they wouldn't give him a job because he was black, and he was at a temp agency, and he sat at the temp agency all day. Yeah, so he went to this temp agency, and they told him that they had no work, and he said he'd sit there until they did have some work. And then when he sat there for like the whole day or 2 days, and then she said that she had a job for him, but he probably wouldn't take it. And his dad took a job as a janitor because he wanted to provide for his wife and kids. I don't know if he had kids at the time, but he did it to be able to have a job. And then he got another job. He got two jobs. He worked two full-time jobs as a janitor for two different companies, and then saved up enough money to start a restaurant. And Larry Elder he became a lawyer out here in Cleveland, and then he went out to California and became a radio show host. But the point that I'm making is Larry Elder's dad lived under segregation and Jim Crow, and he talks about how his dad never taught him to hate white people. If you listen to Jesse Lee Pearson, he grew up underneath, he's like 80 years old or 90 years old. He grew up underneath Jim Crow, and he was said he was never taught to hate black people or to hate white people. So a lot of the narrative that we're being taught is it's being taught to keep a division, because when you keep a division against the people at the bottom, the people at the top can do what they do. And that's why, like, for example, they say that they're taking, like, they try to say that, like, on Kevin and Sale's panel, someone said that their Republicans are banning critical race theory from schools, and that's them trying to erase Black history. But if you go and look into critical race theory comes from intersectional theory, which comes from Marxism, and womanism comes from communism. And communism is trying to take over the United States. And the people that are pushing for this collective good are also the same people that are pushing for illegal immigration. And they're also, by allowing people from other countries to come in here for free, that waters down the power that the Black vote has, and it also waters down the economic power that the Black community has. Because if people are going to say that white people are oppressing Black people and Black people are at the bottom, I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying, say that you buy into this idea, then by bringing in illegal immigrants, you're going to disadvantage those Black people even more, because whatever jobs that they could have gotten, the illegal immigrants are going to do those jobs at a cheaper cost, which is going to put the Black community out of work. So the same people that are pushing this race-based ideology are the same people that are systematically bringing people in to dilute the Black vote and to take the economic power from the Black family. But people don't want to look at stuff like this. People just want to say white people bad. And you see this with, like, the divestment community and the pro-Blacks, and, like, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was their, like, they raised money and then they didn't help the Black community. Hey, Ginger, how you doing? You can come up here if you like. So anyone can come up here if you guys want to talk. So the communist agenda is in a lot of these movements. That's a lot of what's going on. And a lot of the communists are what push the race-based, the racism. Like, for example, China became part of the Council for Human Rights in the world with the UN. And they said that there was an issue with Americans messing up the human rights of Black people, like last year or this year. But China is a communist country, and China has, they have slave camps. They have camps of minorities in the country that are work camps. So if China is trying to use race against America, you have to see the pattern. The pattern of it is like this communist theme keeps pushing race. It keeps pushing race over and over and over again. Why is these groups of people pushing this idea? The pro-black group comes from communism. Like, a lot of these things come from Marxism or communism. And when you try to take over a country, you try to take over the country with division, because if you weaken the country, like, look at China. Like, that's what the Chinese government did against the old guard. That's what the Russian communists did. That's what Cuba did. All of these communist countries come in with disinformation and propaganda, and they take over the country by force. And that's what you see right now in the United States. Like Black Lives Matter was trained communists, and they wanted to take away from they wanted to take the nuclear family structure away, which everyone knows that the best odds of making a strong family unit makes a strong society. Yeah, like at the end of the day, you have to, like the Russians, the communists ended up using the bourgeoisie. They used classism to take over in Russia. They really, like, there is classism in America. I would say that most racism that people say is actually more of a classism issue in America, but most countries like Russia and China, there isn't as big of a race. Like, you have like a billion people in China, and you've got like 1 million or 2 million people out of a billion people that aren't Chinese. So like in America, you only have 300 some million, and 60% of that is white. So like race is a much easier topic to push, especially when you have the history of slavery in America. The class issue is good. It's a good issue to push, but it isn't going to have the effectiveness. Yeah, they, like, all the communists use classism to gain power, but in America, the race issue is much better of a point of attack to weaken the society, because of how America is a melting pot and how there was slavery at one point in America. The class issue isn't as effective as the race issue is. But that's why you have the divestment community. That's why you have all these movements, like the colorism movement, the divestment movement. Like, hey, Lawrence, how you doing? Any of you guys can come up here on the panel if you guys want to talk about this. But the main reason that I brought this, like, for the people that are just not newly coming in here, yeah, China just raised the child policy to 3. Exactly, because they were dying off. Like their country wasn't producing enough girls. And in America, the same thing that they were teaching women now is that women should put off having children. And they've been teaching people that we're overpopulated and that we should reduce the amount of kids that we have. So when you break up the family and you have the children stop producing and you make the women masculine and the men feminine, all those things together are going to make the family structure weak, which is going to in turn make the country weak, which makes the country easier to fall to an opposite power. And as we all know, China is trying to make their men more masculine. The communists are trying to take over America. But this whole stream was much longer, and this stuff is off topic from the very thing that I started this stream about. For the people that are just coming in, I want you guys to see why I made this stream. The reason that I made this stream was because of this issue right here. I'm going to bring up these comments that were brought up in my comment section, and I'm going to get onto my Instagram and show you why this matters. Okay, so let's share my screen. So, all right, so as you guys can see on my screen, Sarah the Narcissist, I have a dirty secret to tell you. I am Summer Madness. Summer Madness is just a character I play online when I'm up to dirt. I'm a very smart cookie. I'm behind the scenes on a lot of things. A few months ago, I intentionally mentioned your name on one of Jessica's streams. I did it to mess with you and take your viewers. I knew it would have embarrassed Jessica because she was taking money from a white homie, which contradicts her message. Jessica then went to Eddie Ahim's channel, and the rest is, well, you know. I know that most of your views came from Jessica's channel. I know that because Jessica's channel, I knew taking Jessica's channel away from you would end your YouTube channel, which it did. Your channel has significantly decreased. I am diabolical. I will no longer be trolling you. My work here is done. I told you previously 2 things that black men despise the most is white men and black women. So turning black people against you was easy, but then again, I don't have to turn black people against you. They already dislike you. Just look how the black dude, Tough Love, was yelling at you on Kevin Sales' video. For all the divestment ladies, this one is for you. Have a beautiful day. Now, this is the next comment that's right under. It's right underneath. Come on. No, it doesn't want to do it. All right, let me pull. Okay, so this is her husband. It says, well played, babe. He's so dumb. He had no idea Sober Madness was you. Ha ha ha. It was fun emailing and taking screenshots of Chris and Savage and sending them to black content creators. Quote unquote, black folks are so gullible. Yo, Savage, peace, dude. Now, this woman is a divester, as you can see in the very bottom of the comment. For all the divested ladies, this one is for you. So this is her husband, her white zaddy, who said that black people are gullible. I don't say this. I don't think this. This is them. So a woman that is going around telling people that I'm a racist and doing whatever debauchery is married to a man that thinks low of black people, as he clearly states in this comment. And no, I haven't been off of YouTube because so the divestment community is definitely very toxic, and a lot of being a white content creator, being a white content creator and being in black spaces, you get a lot of pushback and a lot of hatred just because you're white. Now I'm going to show everybody the reason that I'm in the black content. Like, I'm going to give a rundown. I first came onto YouTube and was on Tommy Sotomayor's panel, not on camera, not with the YouTube channel, just as a call-in, because I had a kid. I was going through child support and custody, and I called in because that's what the topic of the show was about. I became red pill aware during that time period, and in 2020, I was part of mediocre tutorials and reviews. And the people on that panel in that group told me that I should make a YouTube channel because they would support, and it was a black content creator in the red pill section with black folks telling me to make a channel. All right. The narrative that's pushed is that I get close to black people to feed off of their views and to clout chase off of them. But I was part of MTR's content when he only had like 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers before he blew up to where he's at. Lawrence, it's not so much that he was too harsh. He was just emotional. What you have to understand is a lot of these times when people just don't like you, they can't get out of their feelings and they just talk over you and they try to inflate what you say. Like, he was just acting like a female is what he was doing. Like, he was saying that I said something that I didn't say. He was talking over me. Like, he would say, oh, well, you were always on that show. And I said, okay, well, when's the last time I was on that show? And then it was like, oh, well, I don't know. You tell me. No, dude, you're making an assertion. That's how a debate works. When there's a debate, you push an argument. You have to prove your argument. It's not my job to prove your argument or disprove your argument. You have to bring your own argument and prove it. But yeah, he's just an emotional guy, which is weird for a guy that doesn't like white people who dyes his beard blonde. I don't know why you would put blonde in your beard if you don't like white people, because I don't know many black people that have blonde hair, but that's just me, you know. But so I made my YouTube channel because I was on MTR. My son is mixed, which I'm about to show you. My son is mixed. I was told by another black content creator to make a channel with black people that followed him. And then after that happened, my first video ever being on YouTube as Savage Red Recovery, ever having a channel, was on Media Tutorial on MTR's channel. I interviewed him. If you want to see the video, go to Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews and look up a video called "Should You Make a YouTube Channel in 2020?" You'll see where it's like an hour or two video of me and him doing an interview on YouTube. That's the first time I ever been on YouTube as a content creator ever. Okay. So I had the support of a black content creator who helped me make stuff, who helped me figure out how to do it and what to do and what I should and shouldn't be doing. All right. Now, the reason that I'm in black spaces and the reason that I am on panels of black content creators is because there isn't a whole lot of white content creators, and a lot of those white content creators in this space don't have panels or discussions like this. They more do like reactions to stuff, or they do live streams, but they're not so like, it's not a panel. It's in a studio panel. It's not so much a us can talk on the panel type of thing. But I'm going to show you some pictures here to explain to you why exactly I'm in these spaces. So this is my IG account. If you guys want to go follow me at savage_red_recovery, this is where I do all my photography, because I do photography outside of YouTube. All right. So there's my dog. There's me. Here's me and my son. So this is my son. This right here is my daughter. And this this is my son, and this is my daughter right here. All right. So as you can see, my son does not look as though he is a white person. He is mixed. His mother's black and I am white. All right. That's my little dude right there. All right. So also, this right here is all the kids for me and my sister. So this is her son, her daughter, her other son, and her other daughter. These children right here, these four, are all brothers and sisters. This and this are brother and sister. These two are my kids. So as you can see, out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out of the 6 children, there are 2 children in this that are mixed. All right. Right here is my sister and her husband, and these are their kids. All right. So the reason that I bring that up is because regardless of what happens, knowing what's... Oh, okay. I didn't share it. I apologize. My bad. I thought I was still sharing. Okay, let me bring up Instagram real quick. So right here is this is my Savage Red Recovery page for my Instagram. This is where I do photography. So this is me right here. This is my son. This is my daughter. He's 4, she's 2. My son's mixed, as you can see right there. This right here is my daughter. These are the kids right here between me and my sister. This is my son. This is her oldest daughter. This, and this are her kids. These 4 are hers. These 2 are mine. Between the 6 kids in this picture, between me and my sister, 2 of them are mixed. All right. This is my sister and her husband, and these are their children. And my sister's pregnant with her 5th child. So these kids are his and hers. All right. All of those children that are of my sister's children, all those children that are in that picture, my sister adopted. My sister was having trouble having children. Her and her husband could not have kids. They were having problems. So they became foster parents. They were fostering children. They fostered 4 children that were all siblings, which are the 4 that you just seen. My sister and her husband adopted those children. Those are legally their children. My sister, those are like my sister, those are my sister's kids. So a lot of the things that are said about me is that I'm a racist, that I don't like, I'm a racist, that I don't like black women, that, you know, a whole bunch of stupid stuff. But the reason that I'm in the manosphere, for one, is because I'm a man. 2, the reason I'm in the black manosphere because my son's mixed and my niece is mixed. So regardless of what happens, both of those children are going to be dealing with the black community and the white community. So no matter what happens, if they decide to be in the white community and you believe in the view that white people don't accept mixed people because they're not white, they're still black, and white people are racist, then it matters. If you think that they're going to get privileges because they're mixed, it matters. Like, there's no point of view that you can't go with. Like, either they're going to date white people, or they're going to date black people or Asian people. Either way, no matter which way you look at this, what's going on in the dating community in the country, black or white or Asian or Hispanic, my kids are my son and my niece are going to have to deal with the racial tensions that are going on in the community. And white or black, my son is going to have to deal with the child support laws. He's going to have to deal with the marriage laws. He's going to have to deal with the grape laws. He's going to have to deal with the school laws. All the things that have to do that men talk about in the black community on the manosphere, he's going to have to deal with, and all the stuff the white manosphere talks about when it comes to the laws and women and all that shit. No matter what point of view you look at it, he's going to have to deal with it. So as a father, my channel is about showing people that if you can be a screw up like me and fix your life, then anyone can do it. And that we need to work together and change the laws and become better men to take back over society and start dictating the way society goes instead of the way it's been going. Because if the men that are alive right now think that it's bad now, just imagine if we don't do anything in 20 years. My son will be 24 in 20 years. And if it's worse than it is now, I can only imagine how shitty it's going to be for my son. And that goes the same thing for my niece. If it's bad now, it's only going to be worse in 20 years. So that's the reason that I'm in the black space. That's why I'm on black content creators panels. That is why I have a YouTube channel where I talk about divestment and I talk about racism and I talk about the police brutality cases. And that's why I talk about like the teachers, like the child abuse. Like my sister was a foster parent. So like when it comes to child abuse and it comes to these things, I talk about these things because these things are a point of view that are close to me. It's not just a theory. It's not just some idea that I have. These things are relative to me. I don't make any money from YouTube. I don't make money from YouTube. So I'm not on YouTube getting super chats. I'm not on YouTube getting a bunch of donations. Like YouTube doesn't pay for any of the stuff. The only reason that I make videos is because I want to change the culture. That's it. Like I just want to change the culture and make it better for the kids that are behind us. Because the reason that our lives are so messed up when it comes to these laws and stuff is because the boomer generation was selfish. The Gen X, the Gen Xers, they didn't do anything. Like they kept kicking the can down the road. And now you have the millennials right now that are about to be coming up into power and being able to, like, are starting to run for office and stuff. And if us millennials don't end up doing something to change it, it's going to be really bad for the generations behind us. That's it. That's the only reason that I'm on YouTube. Like there's a lot of anti-white rhetoric and there's a lot of racist rhetoric that goes on YouTube and in the media, and like a lot of people aren't actually trying to do a solution. It's about people's feelings and what these people did or what those people did. It doesn't matter. We need to worry about what's going on now for the kids, because I don't know about you, but I'm 32. I'm 32 years old. Like, I'm not young. Like, I was born in 89. My birthday was in March. I'm 32 years old. So, like, I'm not getting any younger. And my kids aren't getting younger either. Like, my son's 4, my daughter's 2. So that's the whole reason I have this channel. Like at the end of the day, we just need to stop fighting about stupid shit. And like the whole colorism thing is that's stupid. The colorism thing is stupid. The divestment thing is stupid. Like, it's literally people just trying to get special privileges and using race to do it. Like, it's all it's doing. Like, and at the end of the day, it's just it's just making the racial tensions worse. Black Lives Matter is the same thing. Black Lives Matter, it like they were trying to destroy the nuclear family because they're communists, but they pretend to be for black people, but they raised money and then stole all the money, and then they didn't help any black families during COVID. They didn't help any of the black businesses that were destroyed. Like, people just need to realize that a lot of these movements are just to exploit people. That's it. That's all it is. Ginger, would you like to come up here and talk to me about it? Like, would you like to come up here and have a conversation? You don't have to be on camera. You don't have to be on camera at all. If anyone wants to come up here and discuss this, you're more than welcome to come up here. But the reason that the divestment community is bad is because the divestment community is using race, is using white. It's the divestment community lifts up white men as if white men are like special, and they're not. Like 60% or 65% of the country is white. All right. The average income is like $50,000 a year. They're like the average income is like $50,000 for men, white men. For black men, it's like $42,000. So there's not much of a gap between the amount of money the average white man makes and the average black man. There isn't much of a gap. It's a couple $100. It's like $700 a month. It's not a whole lot. If you're in the top 10% of the country, you make over $100K. All right. So 10% of the country makes $100K. When you take race and gender from it, it's not that much of a percentage of white men that make over $100K. So with that being said, like, they keep painting this narrative that white men are just like the best thing ever. But because majority of the country isn't making $100K a year, majority of the country's average. That's why it's called like the average income or the median income. Okay, I totally understand. I totally understand that your husband doesn't want you on the panel. I totally understand. But long story short, there's nothing wrong with interracial dating. But the divestment community is like steps way past interracial dating. The divestment community is literally a spiteful movement, a hateful movement that says derogatory things about black men and leverages white men against black men to try to get better options. That's all it is. Like, you can't be in a positive movement or a beneficial movement when you are hateful. It's just that simple. You can't end racism. You can't end racism with racism. You can't end fire with more fire. Like, it just, that's how the world works. You can't do it. And the pro-blacks and the divestment are the opposite sides of the same coin. Like, since George Floyd and all the Black Lives Matter protests, the pushing the race-based viewpoint on every issue has become very, very, how can I say? It has become to where you can monetize it. You can monetize it. You can get clout off of it. There are a lot of benefits to doing it. So a lot of people are doing it. Like, if you look, there's a lot of fake race, like there's like hate crime hoaxes and racist incident hoaxes, and like people that get caught saying that racist stuff is happening to them, but later get found out that they're doing it to themselves, like, or they're part of it happening. And I'll give you a great example: Jesse Smollett. Jesse Smollett said that it was racist Trump supporters in Chicago that tried to hurt him, but it found out he paid some guys to do it to him, and they weren't white. So I hate talking about race constantly, because obviously, like, I don't feel that it goes anywhere. It doesn't get anywhere. But as people, we just need to start quit putting everything through the lens of race. It's just like when you talk to a vegan. Like, vegans put everything through veganism. Like, I don't know if you guys know any vegans, but like, when you have a conversation with a vegan, it's just annoying. Like, they literally just, everything they talk about is how they're vegan and how they wouldn't do this because of they're vegan. Like, it just gets irritating. And it's the same thing when you put everything through a lens of race. Like, issues that don't have anything to do with race. Like, I'll give you a great example. In Columbus, Ohio, when that cop shot that 16-year-old girl, when he pulled up to the scene, there was a 16-year-old girl stabbing another girl, and the cop shot the girl with a knife. There was automatically a thing said that he shouldn't have done this, but the fact of the matter is, someone was trying to stab another person in front of a cop. So the cop did what he was supposed to do, and he saved somebody. But because he was a cop and he was white and he shot someone that was black, it became a race issue, even though I'm sure the black girl that was not trying to get stabbed was grateful that he killed the girl or shot the girl so that she didn't get stabbed. Like, same thing. There was a cop that was doing he was doing a protest. There was a thing that they were doing a protest, and they asked a cop, "Are you going to shoot another 16-year-old girl? Are you going to be like those cops and shoot that 16-year-old girl, or another 6-year-old girl, or another black girl, or something?" I forget the way they worded it, but it was race-based. And he said, "Do you plan on stabbing anybody?" And then he got fired for that comment, even though that's what happened. So, like, there's just a lot of virtual signaling of who is the most woke, and like, wokeism is just like, it's a cancer. It's a cancer of communism. That's really what it comes down to. It really is what it comes down to. But I'm about to get off here. I have some errands to do, and I've got to pick up my kids. I got to spend time with the old gang. Thank you guys for coming and watching the video. The main reason, I don't have any beef with any other YouTubers. I don't have any beef with Jessica X. I don't have any beef with anybody. The only reason that her name is in this video is because clearly there was something said to her or done, or like something happened where we fell out or something. Like I don't personally know. It's what is said in these comments, and like I just want I just want to put it out there that like clearly there was something going on the back end with these two people, and these two people are clearly like one of them is sick and the other one is racist. So I just wanted to put that out there and explain that I'm not been on YouTube because I have personal things that I'm trying to accomplish outside of YouTube, and that's what I've been focusing on. And I've been focusing on investing the money into a professional studio here in Cleveland. No, like I never get to talk to her, so like I don't like I've emailed her twice. I've never got a response from her, so I made a video with her name in it so that maybe she could. I'm sure someone would tell her about the video so she could see the screenshots that are in this video. But I have no beef with her, no beef at all. But as always, guys, I've got to go take care of some business and hang out and play with my kids. Stay savage.